welcome. I'm Jason J. Devine, and you are in the Polida playlist in the round pen at Divine Horses and Humans. So this one, we're just going back to basics, because you can never ever have enough basics in place with a horse. Groundwork. So you can see she's sort of in follow mode, right? So let's get her up here. Come on, get on with it. So right, I'm severely dyslexic, so let's talk about dyslexic time. It is 7:15 in the AM, 15th of June 2025. And the reason, one of the reasons I'm doing this is because there's a better way with horses, for starters, and this kind of groundwork that I'm going to call a foundation in a horse needs to be taken more seriously here in the British equine industry. Okay, so as you see, she's got a bit of an infection going on here. The vet's been out. We're waiting on antibiotics for that. So, like I said before, if a horse is damaged or broken or got a problem, what we're supposed to do, just throw them away? It's ridiculous. There's an abundance of horses out there that people don't want. So as you can tell, she passed the umbrella. She went over this mat. And you might look at it and go, oh, it's just a stable mat. But maybe it may just look like a big black hole to them. So she turns to give me two eyes. So what you'll find with a lot of horses, right? They have to. No, all horses. I shouldn't say a lot of horses. They have to move their feet, right? Especially the ones that are wired, that I've worked with so many, and worked in the British equine industry for over a decade, like 25,000 hours working with horses. And because A, I was dyslexic, I used to get quite a lot of bullying in that industry, and B, because I could get stuff done like this, once again, you get sort of punished because they don't understand what I'm doing. It's witchcraft, it's doping, it's hypnotising, so much. So we have to have some kind of way of communicating with horses, and that's not here in Britain, not the way I see it. And I said, you've got to understand, I'm dyslexic, so I see patterns, right? That's scientific facts. I see patterns that the average person can't see. And most horse people are average people that can read, write. I've met barristers, solicitors, lawyers, business owners, film industry, fashion industry, no, go on out. Fashion industry and so much more, right? So she keeps sort of standing on to me, so that's like she wants to come in here, right? But we've got something going. So I'm going to leave that there, because I believe that horses should ground tie, especially when you're about. There's no point in putting horses in cross ties. I don't really believe in that, because I've literally ended up getting strangled through having to use cross ties, because fear-based animal, okay, right? Fear-based animal, right? So you have to understand that when they feel panicked and trapped, right? When they feel trapped, they panic, right? And they've got to leave. So if they can't leave and they can't move their feet, they will fight. They will fight with everything, right? So one of the biggest problems I've experienced, and this is why I talk about basics, tying horses off, and they will use a piece of baleen twine like this, right? And what happens is, if you get a horse that traps themselves through this and this doesn't break, or it takes time to break, that horse is going to have what they would call a vice, a problem. So I'd introduce a piece of equipment like that. So I won't tie to this, I would take this to work, and then I would take a longer lead rope, but if I was use a rope halter, they'd all go, oh no, that unravels everything, and like, because they don't understand it. So we just blame it. What people don't understand, they will attack. Then I'll put it on like that. Then I'll put it onto the baling twine, so it's still on the baling twine, and it slides. So the horse is never ever going to get trapped. And if I want it to slide less, I can go like that, and it will slide less. Put another wrap in it, slide less. So, you know, I'm trying to educate people that are going to go and work in the British equine industry, and be warned, there's a lot of bullies in it. They bullied me, they led me into having a mental breakdown. And like I said, I'm dyslexic, so I repeat myself quite a lot. And if you use this sort of equipment, it's witchcraft, you're doping, or you're hypnotising. So if you can't, horses come in two shapes and forms, right? Leaders and followers, like any good team. Any good team, to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower, because you have to swap things about. Right, now you can see she's following me, right? Okay, so if I stop and I turn in this way, she follows me. Okay, so that's sort of, I'm not dragging on her, am I? You can see her belly in the rope. I'm not holding her here, am I? If I go here, I might do it from the left hand, because they do everything from the left hand side in the UK, and that's all to do with the cavalry and where your sword is and all of that. Anyway, and they come unbalanced. So, big thing I've learned, if they're free in the spine, they're free in their mind. So, if you can do this, and they do that, they're pretty free in their mind, they're relaxed in their mind. If you do this, a bit tighter this side, they're relaxed in the mind. See how she's dropped her head down there? And then I go, right, I just need you to pop your head down there. And the lower they are, flatter they are, the calmer they are. But if you work in the British equine industry here, you will be made, and this is where there's a big hole, you'll be made to walk horses like this. And can you see how she's sort of leaning into that? Yeah, because I'm too much on top of her. And she's had it before, and she's probably trapped. So, earlier today, talking about that, it's 7:20, 15th of June 2025. Yeah, I probably said that once, because that's me being dyslexic again. Neurodiversity, yeah, I believe that's the word. So, I left the ground tied, right, like that, and she should stop, and she's trodden on it. She needs to work it out herself, right, because they need to work this stuff out. That's going through discomfort, but you can see she's level, right, so she's calm. That's what you want. And I tell you, amount of times that people have said I've doped a horse because I can get them into this sort of state, because I use their sympathetic nervous system. So there's two things I'm going to suggest to you. That you go learn about sympathetic nervous system in yourself and in horses, right? And you go and learn about cortisol, right? And what happens when cortisol shows up, and then what happens if you move your feet happens, and then what happens after that. So you're talking cortisol, serotonin, dopamine. You need to go and learn about those things, and your thought process. Hugely important when you work around horses, and it's not talked about enough. So if you're coming in here to think, oh, I want to get to know how to do this, do that, and this, that, and the other, the first place you need to start is with your thinking. That's where you need to start. So as I said, she's still standing on it. But that's good because she's working it out. She's not fighting it, is she? How many horses? I've met enough horses that if that happened, they'd back out. They'd scare themselves and just back out because they've been tied off on a piece of baling twine with not using a piece of equipment that's that simple. It's just that simple. This piece of equipment is going to save you an awful lot of trouble, but you've got to use a lead rope that's at least 12 to 14 foot long, 10 foot long. So this is basics. This is what I call basics. So I should be able to come up here and go, right, basics, right? If you're going to go and work in the industry, you're going to be a groom, right? One of your jobs is going to have to be picking up feet. So you should come down here, ask for it, and they pick it up and you hold it, right? Do not go straight down here and grab their feathers. You're going to end up with trouble on your hands. See it all the time. All the time. Start here, and the wither, come down, rub them, come down here, put your hand down the back, rub their acorn, they lift their foot, and you put your hand here. Support it here. Not hold them here. Disrespectful. Disrespectful to them, disrespectful to yourself because you're being like, acts like you, instead of taking your friend's hand, grabbing them by the scruff of the neck and going, come on. Same again. So she's standing on that, that's not a problem. Same again with the back leg. And I said, you're going to have to do this because you're going to have to clean feet out. Down like this, to there, rub on the hook, and she lifts the foot. Now let go. Right, so we come out, rub on the hook, and she lets go. Right, so once again, so you can see this, look, right, I'm not grabbing her by the feather, see that? So what I need to do is hold it and let her just kick into it, and when she stops, I let go. And this is the biggest problem that human beings do with horses, because they cannot see it from somebody else's point of view, because they don't have dyslexia. And this is the dyslexic horsey guy telling you 25,000 hours working around horses, yeah, telling you what I see, because the British equine world need to start seeing horses in a different way. So another thing I teach them, if the rope's here, right, like a rein, you just stand there. So if I wanted to back up, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, okay? Right, so what happens is, if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to clean her eyes, for instance, right? And you go in here and she moves away from you, and she moves away from you, she moves away from you, and she moves away from you, right? And then she does what she's doing now and she stops, I stop. But what I see human beings doing all the time is when the horse stops, and where's the release of pressure? Because they learn from a release of pressure. So, you know, simple thing like an umbrella, right? Such a simple thing. Should be able to deal with it. How many places are you going to go and you're going to see an umbrella? I've actually seen them at low gold polo matches asking people not to bring umbrellas because it scares the horses. It should be something that horses can just accept, because it's just another tool. And as I said, you know, you keep going over the same thing and you keep getting the same thing, you're always gonna get the same result, aren't you? Because that's how it works. But I said, and I'm just a idiot of a stupid dyslexic man that sees things different. But I'm stupidly clever, an idiotic idiot. I've got this idiotic idea that there's a better way. So like doing stuff like this, so beneficial for horses. Just doing this, so beneficial. But would you catch British equine people to, oh no, I can't do that, because other people might actually talk about me and go, look at her, what does she think she's doing? She doesn't know anything. She needs to get up on that horse's back and just ride. But that's her problem, she's scared. She's scared to ride that horse. I'll ride anything because I'm fearless. You're an absolute lunatic and you call me an idiot because I can't read and write. You think you can crawl up on the back of a horse and ride anything and you're in control of something that's out of control. You are a complete and utter idiot. But that's the lie that they tell you. That is the lie that is told. It's all about ride, 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 because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but is it more about the companionship on the journey? And I think that is the case. I think it's about the companionship. And like I said, basics, you need a horse to do this. Right, let me just draw out here a bit. Basics. She needs to disengage her hind. So if I go back here, see the inside, look, the inside leg goes under. So to start that process, literally, you'd go here with the rein, like that, and then you'd bend, push the hip, and it does it. My timing was late. Let's do it this side. So we want this side, so I lift the rein, pull the rein, put some pressure on the rear, put some pressure, there. No, that's not what I want, no, there. And it's the same teaching the back up, like, no. So if I wanted to back up, I go like that. And you see the rock, and I stop, and then I walk away. This is how you start it. Little, very little. The slower you go, the faster it happens. So, let's see if we can get her to investigate the umbrella. Oh, no, that's the wrong answer. There you go. Right, now she's done that, put her nose over it, I'm just going to walk away. Because when they give you two eyes and they're looking at you like that, right, that's when the learning's happening. And I'll tell you, just a tip from a dyslexic idiot that's got this idiotic idea that there's a better way, because I'm stupidly clever and I can see things that most people can't, and I'm not being arrogant or ignorant there. Don't ever stand in front of a horse there. There's a blind spot through here somewhere, and there's a blind spot down here somewhere. Rope management, don't do all of this in front of the horse, because horses will go forwards, backwards, left or right or up or down. And that's where you have to do everything from either side, because you train two halves of a horse to get a whole horse. Okay? If you're going to do anything from the front, you do it from distance. That was that. You heard that. You do it from distance. And you can see where she gets a bit bothered, a bit, oh, what was that? She has to move her feet. Go on. So we stop, disengage her, turn. Right, so if I bend down like that and look at her hip, she disengages and then looks at me. And this is what we need to get under control first, is their rear hind. So you go and look at their hind and they keep two eyes on you. Keep two eyes on you. Now I want you to back out. But do everything from a distance, right? And from the side. Not from the front of the horse. Very dangerous. Turn. So if you get a smooch, like the walk, And a cluck for trot, it's got to be better than kicking the shit out of them. So I'll stop, I'll turn her, direct her, get on with it, get on with it. So you have to change your energy sometimes. And that's the bit, you can see she's still holding the tension because her jaw's tight. So that one, I'm going to say like, comment, share, subscribe and all that jazz. If you're still here, thank you so much. That's the important one. If you're still here, thank you so much. I'm not going to run the program on you just like everybody else does and does the same thing as everybody else, because that's the whole point of what I'm trying to put across here. If you want something different around horses, do something different. Don't do what everybody else is doing, because you're going to get the same result. And if you've got the ability to actually see what I'm talking about here and think outside of the box, there's a lot to be had. So at that one, we'll catch you in the next one.